Good morning, it's Brian here at Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare. We're going to have a look around this 2018 Hyundai i30. Brian's my name. If there's any information you want on this particular car, call, text, WhatsApp, whatever suits, 086 843 1945, or if you come to the garage here in Kildare, just ask for Brian. We are a family-run business based in Kildare town, just off the motorway, which is the M7, which means we're about 30 minutes south of Dublin. And like what we're saying, this is a family-run business, so the after-sales service here is going to be really good. What we're going to do with this video then is we're going to have a look around this car on the outside, and we're going to have a drive in the car, and then we're going to see the features on the inside as well. So this exact car is a 1 litre, it's a turbocharged 1 litre engine, it's a petrol engine, and this is an SE model. Starting on the front of the car then, the first thing I always see on this SE model is that chrome grille. The reason I say that is because the standard normal grille on these cars has a black plastic setup. However, SE models like this get a completely chrome grille along the front, and it just makes the car look slightly more upmarket. Down along the bottom of the bumper then you'll see there's a nice black diffuser which just breaks up the blue colour, and the headlights have a cornering function, which means when you're turning into a junction on the right or the left, there's an extra light that is at that 45 degrees to light up the area that you're turning into. As an SE model then, front fog lights are standard, and they also have those nice daytime running lights which also serve as parking lights also. Under the bonnet of this car then, there is that 1 litre turbo GDI engine, which makes 120 horsepower. It is a 1 litre 3-cylinder engine, and these engines have been developed for fuel efficiency. But if you compare it to the older model that went before, which was a 1.4 non-turbo, the old 1.4 non-turbo is 100 horsepower, whereas like what we were saying, on these ones then, they're actually 120 horsepower. They're a much nippier car, but they are more fuel efficient as well. Road tax for the year then is €270, and realistic fuel efficiency is somewhere in the region of 45 miles per gallon, which is about 6 or so litres per 100 kilometres. This particular car we've actually sourced from a trusted supplier in the UK, and the reason being that there's a massive shift of emphasis onto petrol these days, whereas back in 2018 we were still selling a lot of diesel cars at the time. The result of this then has been that we don't have enough second-hand petrol cars in stock, so that's why we specifically source these 1 litre petrol SE models. Moving on down the side of the car then, the wheels are a nice diamond cut finish, and what's unusual on the SEs is they actually have chrome around the windows, which doesn't normally come on the deluxe models. The diamond cut finish of the wheel basically means it's a nice shiny reflective surface, so at night time, under artificial lighting or when the sun shines in it, the wheels look really cool. Round onto the back of the car then, the first thing is there is parking sensors as standard on these SE models, and there's actually a reverse camera we'll see on the inside as well. I quite like also the way the rear bumper has the black diffuser along the bottom, again just to break up the blue colour coating. The boot is pretty good in these cars, and they also have a neat trick because they have a split level, which basically actually allows you to pull out the back tray, and then you can place it at either one level, which is down low, or you can bring it up to a second level, which is higher. And as you can see there as well, spare wheel is standard on the i30, which is actually becoming a thing in the past in a lot of cars. Because this car is an SE model, it's actually also got a ski-through in the rear seating, which just means if you have something that's really awkward and long, you can actually put it all the way up through the centre of the car. Technically it's meant for skis because it's called a ski-through, but let's face it, not many people do that in Ireland, but a lot of people do DIY, so just the odd time you might have something awkward, it might come in handy. Moving into the rear of the car then, we've child locks down here on the doors. Over here then you have electrics for rear windows, and there is 3 head restraints, 3 3-point safety belts, there's an armrest in the centre that you can see, and you've also got ISOFIX on this side as well as ISOFIX on that side for child seats. In terms of space in the rear of the car then, the headroom is quite good, so I'm basically 6 foot, and then this is the kind of legroom that I'll be looking at when I'm sitting behind myself, so it's quite a comfortable cabin overall. Moving into the front of the car, but actually on the passenger side, one point of note, there's a height adjustable passenger seat which is not standard on the deluxe models normally. And also again, because this is the SE model, you will get lumbar support for lower back, which again is not standard on a lot of the deluxe models. In the front, just like the back, is a hard wearing dark black cloth, and the seats are comfortable, and there's also nice support peripherally on either side. Along the driver's door then, you've got things like electrics for windows and mirrors, child locks for windows, and there's also auto folding mirrors. The key's got a couple of functions like locking the car, bringing in the wing mirrors, and also as you can see then we can control the lights on and off using the key as well. As you sit in the car then, this is the view that you're going to see in front of you, so you have your speedometer over here with a revolution counter. And in through the centre then, we've got a trip computer which allows us to manipulate information like how much fuel we've left in the car, average fuel efficiency, things like our current speed, lane change warning function, also things like tyre pressure monitors and general settings overall. Like we were saying, there is a lane warning function which basically will either warn you if you drift out of your lane, or it'll also actively keep you within the lane, and it works really well. Other controls on the steering wheel then are things like cruise control with a speed limiter in through here, and on the left hand side then we have things like Bluetooth. Because it's an SE model then, you got automatic headlights which are auto dip, so it just means when somebody comes towards you, the car actually dips its headlights itself. And because it's SE, you also get a electrochromatic rear mirror, which means if someone drives up behind you at night time, the mirror actually darkens itself without you having to go for a daytime nighttime function. The radio in through the centre then here has some touch screen functionality, and what you're going to do is use radio. You're going to stream music using Bluetooth, and then down through the bottom section in through here, two 12-volt power outlets and auxiliary, and then a USB connector as well. Heating controls are pretty straightforward and easy to use, and air conditioning is standard. We'll see in a sec now, because we'll go for a drive. There's a really nice 6-speed gearbox, and that is quite nice and comfortable to use. And looking down through here then, you'll have things like drinks holders in through here, armrest in through the centre with some storage also. Safety wise in the car then, you will have a curtain airbag, you'll have a side airbag in the side of the seat, you'll have an airbag over here, you'll have an airbag over here, and you'll have an airbag up here and down here as well. And all these doors have side impact protection beams, and the brakes will have anti-lock brakes and emergency brake assist, emergency brake distribution, so you can slam on the brakes and have still full control over the car. And even things like anti-whiplash head restraints, you can pull them forward, they come forward, and it stops your head going backwards if someone hits you from behind. One other thing I might have forgotten to mention is this also has a reverse camera to go with those sensors that we were talking about a little while ago. Steering wheel for comfort is a rake reach function, and as you saw with the seat already, I've got height adjustment, and I've also got things like lumbar support as well. So let's go for a drive in the car and see what it's like. This engine does something a little bit unique. The first time I drove one of these, I got into it and I actually wasn't impressed with the power, but I drove the car cold. What they do is, when the car is cold, only for the first 2 or 3 minutes, it actually reduces the amount of power, which is going to save the engine long term. But after that, in terms of power, once they warm up, all the power comes then. I think the engine's really, really good. It is way better than the 1.4 that was there already. There's more power, and it's just more enjoyable to drive. Anyone that's worried about acceleration, I'm just going to start off in first gear. The car is warm, so we can drive it on into second. And we're going to just go for 100 kilometers an hour. Into third, and that is 100 kilometers an hour. This particular example is in nice condition in terms of engine, gearbox, brakes, everything. It drives very, very nice. But come try the car and you'll see yourself. So that is our 2018 i30 SE 1 litre turbo. If there's any information you want on the car, Brian's my name, 086 843 1945. We can trade in your car, we can offer finance, and a car like this has a warranty until 2023. So hopefully this car is of interest, hopefully the video's been useful, and if there's anything you'd like to know, give me a shout. Thanks for taking time to watch.